If one were to gaze upon a map of our planet, the eyes would sweep across the vast, deep blue of the Pacific Ocean. It is an immense expanse, covering nearly a third of the globe. And there, seemingly lost in this great liquid wilderness, is a delicate string of islands. This is the nation of Kiribati. The islands themselves are tiny, mere specks of land, scattered like dust across an enormous canvas of water. From this perspective, one might wonder how life could possibly thrive in such isolation. The distances between these atolls are vast, measured not in miles, but in days of sailing across the open sea. The sun here is a constant, powerful force. It beats down upon the white coral sands and warms the turquoise lagoons. The air is thick with the scent of salt and the sweet fragrance of tropical flowers. For the people who call this place home, the Kiribati, the sea is not a barrier. It is their highway, their larder, their history. Life moves to the rhythm of the tides. The rise and fall of the water dictates when one can fish, when one can travel between islands, and even when certain ceremonies can take place. It is a world where the boundary between land and water is often beautifully blurred. This nation is composed of 33 atolls, reef islands. Many are little more than slender crescents of sand and coral, barely rising above the waves. The total land area is remarkably small, approximately 811 square kilometers in all. But the country's true scale is only revealed when one considers its oceanic territory. These small islands command an exclusive economic zone that stretches over 3.5 million square kilometers of the Pacific, transforming Kiribati from a tiny, terrestrial state into a vast ocean nation, custodian of an immense marine world. To truly understand Kiribati, one must first appreciate this profound connection to the ocean. The sky above is enormous and ever-changing, filled with dramatic cloud formations. And at night, a breathtaking canopy of stars. The horizon is a constant, unbroken line in almost every direction. This is a place that teaches perspective, reminds us of the power of nature, and the remarkable resilience of life in a remote, challenging environment. The story of Kiribati does not begin with lines on a modern map. It begins thousands of years ago with some of the most skilled and courageous mariners the world has ever known. People from the broader Micronesian region, likely from Southeast Asia originally, embarked on epic voyages. They sailed in magnificent outrigger canoes, crafted by hand from the limited resources of their island homes. These were not random drifts into the unknown. They were planned expeditions, guided by a profound and intricate knowledge of the natural world. These navigators read the stars, the ocean swells, the flight patterns of birds, and the subtle colors of the water. They arrived on these uninhabited atolls sometime between 2,000 and 3,000 years ago. What they found was a challenging paradise. Land made of coral, sand, not rich soil. Fresh water existed, but it was held in fragile underground lenses and easily contaminated by the salt of the sea. Yet there was abundance. The lagoons in the surrounding ocean teemed with fish. Coconut palms grew tall. They provided food, drink, and building materials. Settlers brought essential plants, taro, breadfruit, cultivated in pits dug down to the freshwater table. Over generations, they developed a unique, sophisticated culture, perfectly attuned to the environment. Society organized around the family, the clan, and the village, the Kainga. They built Maniaba meeting houses. Maniaba as social, political, and spiritual heart. Elders gathering to make decisions. Disputes settled. Elaborate ceremonies held. Their language, Gilberts, evolved rich vocabularies for fishing, navigation, and the natural life of the atoll. For millennia, the world of the Kiribati was contained within their own oceanic sphere. This isolation was shattered in the 17th century. The first documented European sighting was by a Spanish expedition in 1606. However, these early encounters were fleeting, contact became more frequent. Whalers from America and Europe used the islands to rest, replenish supplies, and trade with the local population. These were often tense and unpredictable interactions. In 1788, British captain Thomas Gilbert charted many islands. Later, the archipelago was named the Gilbert Islands. This act of naming placed the islands onto European maps, imposing an external identity over long-standing local names. Sailors brought metal tools, firearms, and alcohol, goods that altered society and warfare. More tragically, diseases like measles and influenza caused catastrophic population decline. The era saw blackbirding, people tricked or taken to plantations as far as Fiji, Samoa, Australia, and Peru. Missionaries brought education and medical care, but also suppressed dances, songs, and spiritual beliefs. As the 19th century closed, great powers carved up the Pacific. In 1892, Britain declared a protectorate over the Gilbert Islands. Taxes and a cash economy spread, tied closely to copra production. On Banaba, high-grade phosphate was mined, the island stripped and rendered uninhabitable. Banabans received a pittance, stark exploitation. The relative quiet of colonial life in the Gilbert Islands was violently shattered by the outbreak of the Second World War. After Pearl Harbor, Japan rapidly expanded across the Pacific. Tarawa was occupied, defenses and airstrips were built. The Kiribati endured forced labor, scarcity, and constant surveillance. Any resistance met with severe punishment. In November 1943, the United States launched a massive amphibious assault to retake Tarawa. Planners underestimated reefs and defenses. The Battle of Tarawa became one of the bloodiest in the Pacific. Over 3 days, thousands of Marines and Japanese soldiers were killed in a desperate struggle for a tiny strip of sand. Islanders were caught in the crossfire. Bombardment destroyed villages, coconut groves, and scarred the land. The war left indelible scars and enduring relics. Sunken landing craft, coastal guns, concrete bunkers, silent witnesses to a brutal chapter. On Tarawa's beaches, peace returns each tide, yet memory holds the echoes of war. The past is honored and lessons endure. The tide turned, and with it, a path toward self-rule. In the post-war years, the world shifted toward decolonization. After the war, empires crumbled and a movement for self-determination swept Asia, Africa, and the Pacific. The Gilbert and Ellice Islands moved to separate, distinct Micronesian and Polynesian identities set different courses. A constitution and parliamentary democracy took form. On July 12, 1979, the Union Jack fell and the flag of Kiribati, rose. Blue and white waves for the Pacific, a rising sun for the equator, a frigate bird for strength and freedom. Yeremiah Tabai became the first president as pride met daunting reality. Limited resources and a widely dispersed population shaped the young nation's priorities. Building education, healthcare, and a grassroots economy became foundational work. Overseas work, especially seafaring, sent vital remittances home. Meanwhile, Banaba's phosphate was exhausted, its legacy a cautionary tale. Today, climate change is the most urgent challenge, average elevation just 2 meters above sea level. Rising seas erode shores, flood villages, contaminate freshwater, and destroy taro and breadfruit. The economy leans on fishing license revenues, a national fund, and aid from partners like Australia, New Zealand, and Japan. Adaptation spans seawalls and mangroves to long-term options like land in Fiji. Through it all, the Maniaba, skills, and stories endure. Family and community remain the social anchor. Kiribati's story is a delicate balance, survival, and an urgent alarm. Their fate is intertwined with choices made in industrialized nations far away. They do not see themselves as victims. They are proud survivors and guardians of a unique culture and a vast ocean realm. Their future is uncertain. but their voice is one of hope and determination. A plea for global responsibility so their islands and way of life do not vanish beneath the waves. Under the same stars that guided their ancestors, a new dawn remains possible. A small land, a great ocean, Kiribati endures. The spirit of its people, resilient, resourceful, and deeply connected to the sea, lights the way forward. And there, on the edge of the world, the guardians of an ocean nation look to the horizon, steadfast and ready for whatever the tide brings next.